Jason Aaron, R.M. Greer, and Ed McGuinness take a trip to Ravencroft as Nighthawk battles a gauntlet of his greatest foes while trying to stop the Green Goblin's takeover of the asylum and the murder of his partner Gwen Stacy. Jason Aaron takes his DC pastiche into Batman territory with his Nighthawk-focused portion of the event, fusing the Dark Knight's classic dark tone with that of Spider-Man for a fun action-packed journey through Ravencroft, again exploring more of the villains of this universe, with most of them being strange combinations of two characters like Black Skull. Like how many Batman stories question how sane Bruce Wayne is, Jason takes that idea and turns it on its head, being that this is an alternate reality event, meaning Nighthawk leans into the craziness and uses it to fuel him and his mission. The hints as well of the death of Sam Wilson, which we actually get to see in one of the tie-ins to this event, was really well done, combining the death of Gwen Stacy with the death of Robin really well. The backup story featuring Ronin was pretty much what we've come to expect of the backups now, with small epilogue pieces seeing Blade and Cap finding another member of the Avengers to recruit to their cause, and that's exactly what happens here. R.M. Greer contributed to the artwork of the issue, adding his great gritty, bloody and violent look to the book, which totally makes perfect sense to help tell this dark part of the story. I quite enjoyed how gross he made a lot of the villains look, particularly Black Skull and the Green Goblin, really imparting more Joker-like features into the villain to give him this huge creepy smile. Heroes Reborn issue 5 was another really great world exploration piece that showcased another member of the Squadron Supreme and their various villains and allies through a wonderful DC Comics coloured lens. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Heroes Reborn issue 5 finds the Nighthawk-dressed Kraven the Hunter blasting his way through the cops outside Ravencroft, proclaiming that he has become the Knight and it's not enough for him to destroy Nighthawk, he must wear his skin. He calls for Nighthawk to come out and face him as smoke covers the area, thrown by Nighthawk as the cops led by Commissioner Luke Cage move in. In the smoke they find Kraven strung up and waiting for them, so Cage calls everyone to fall back as Nighthawk heads into the asylum, knowing he understands the rage many of the lunatics he puts away feel, and the understanding makes him punch their faces all that harder. Inside, he finds the asylum is darkened, its hallways filled with the dead bodies of orderlies as he heads for the criminally insane ward. Sometime before, Kyle Richmond speaks before Congress, wanting to reform the mental health care system. Soon his watch beeps, so he takes a moment, heading into the back and switching his place with an LMD, telling it to finish his speech and really sell it. Kyle races to the Night Cave, having received a signal from Commissioner Luke Cage regarding a riot at Ravencroft. Kyle suits up as Nighthawk, saying that he'll take the car, so boarding the Hawk Rod, he races across town, remembering how Sam Wilson used to call the car that name, not wanting to think about it as he heads over the bridge. Back in the prison, Nighthawk faces his rogues as laughter fills the building. The hero gets to work, burning the lizard and breaking Bullseye's arms as Black Skull tells him to give up his useless fight. Kyle remembers how years earlier he brought an alien suit back home with him from Battleworld and it came alive, making him feel like it was in his mind. Black Skull attacks with the symbiote, but Johann fights against the symbiote who wants to return to Nighthawk and be one again. Otto Octavius screams about his arms being taken away from him as Kyle remembers Black Cat thinking that he always needed therapy, but she never understood. Beating criminals was his therapy. The hero activates a sound device that disrupts the symbiote on Johann as he remembers how every day he would limp back to the cave with his knuckles swollen from the night before, but he would always pray for nightfall again. Deadpool comes at the hero with a hammer, trying to kill Nighthawk with it, knowing that Mr. G told him not to murder the hero, but maybe he won't notice a little dismemberment. Nighthawk deploys smoke, escaping the villains and into the main complex, where the Green Goblin holds Gwen Stacy hostage, intending on dropping her from the ledge. Goblin knows that Gwen is really Nightbird, one of the many sidekicks Nighthawk has had, but Gwen tells Kyle that Green Goblin wants Nighthawk to kill him to prove that he has broken the hero, so she tells Kyle never to give him the satisfaction. Goblin lets the woman go as Nighthawk remembers years prior when Goblin threw Sam Wilson from the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Kyle remembers how the Green Goblin serum turned Norman Osborn insane, and that's why he hated Kyle so much, since while Kyle was born into the night, Norman had to buy his way in. He knows had he killed the Goblin back then when Sam died, he would have died laughing that he had won, but Kyle vowed to show him what broken Kingpin really means. Nighthawk quickly deals with Rhino and the other villains in the area, saving Gwen in the nick of time. He frees Gwen's hands, but the woman says he should have let her die since she's been infected by the Goblin gas, causing her to attack Kyle, who was forced to fight back and throw his Hawkerangs at his former sidekick. Gwen rips the Hawkerangs from her arm, knowing the gas is making her crazy enough to see how wrong they've been all these years. She throws the blades at Goblin, hitting the villain in the face and knocking him to the ground. The Goblin pleads to be put out of his misery, but Nighthawk refuses, calling Cage to send in a paramedic team, as Goblin says that he threw this shindig because the crazy things he heard Silver Witch saying, telling Nighthawk not to let them change the world back since he really likes it this way. Nighthawk decides to look into the man's claims, thinking the world is changed from how it was meant to be. He finds all of the inmates except for one are accounted for, learning that Echo, the former henchman of Kingpin, has escaped hours before the riot and she had help. Looking over the video footage, he realizes that one of the men is Blade, but the other one he doesn't know, but knows he wields a star-spangled shield. Sometime after in Washington, Nighthawk battles Ronin down the side of the Washington Monument as the ninja cuts up the hero's Hawkerangs. Nighthawk soon catches himself before he hits the ground, but Ronin impacts on the ground hard, softened by an energy disbursement. Nighthawk says that his Hawkerangs are made from adamantium steel, wondering where the man got his sword from, which easily cut them up. He demands to know who the man is and why he is trying to get into the Squadron Supreme's HQ. Ronin, however, says nothing, hitting a button on his gauntlet and teleporting away before Kyle can get any answers. The being returns to Africa, where he knows that someone in the world knows its secrets and he needs to find them, remembering how the dead Celestial he found in the Arctic ice called to him, allowing him to harness some of its power and teleportation abilities, which he then used. Ronin deactivates his cloaking and is revealed to be Black Panther, who demands the people around him show themselves since they don't belong there. Captain America and Blade show themselves, telling T'Challa that he doesn't belong there either.